Hello, today is Friday, March 29th, and this is Friday 5 at 5 with the Denver Public Library. My name is Dodie. I'm a librarian at DPL's Central Library, and in 15 minutes or less, we'll have you up to speed on 5 new titles out this month that we can't wait for you to read or listen to. Please note that new titles may not be added to Overdrive until after publication date, so if you don't see the titles in ebook or e-audio format, please check back. April is National Poetry Month, and we have some great events lined up. Poetry and Pancakes is happening at our Blair Caldwell branch on Saturday, April 6th at 10 a.m. for kids 5 through 12. Our University Hills branch is doing Poetry and Art Share for teens on April 6th at 11 a.m. Poetry for Beginners, an introduction to writing and appreciating the craft, is a 6-week online class that kicks off April 19th at 12:30 p.m. Registration is required for this one. Fiction Beer Company is hosting Denver Public Library for a combination National Poetry Month and National Library Week celebration at 1 p.m. on April 20th. We'll be doing library Mad Libs, beer-inspired haikus, and banned book bingo. Link below for more information on these events and other great springtime activities. If you're looking to dig deeper into a particular genre, remember to check out DPL's core collections. Since April is National Poetry Month, might I suggest you check out the United States Poetry Core Collection? You'll find titles from Maya Angelou, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Tupac Shakur, Phyllis Wheatley, and many more. We also have adult core collections for horror, essays, pop science, and many more. Details at the link below. On to the books. Startlingly inventive and profoundly moving, The Morning Side by Tia Obrecht is a novel about the stories we tell and the stories we refuse to tell, to make sense of where we come from and who we hope we might become. When Sylvia and her mother finally land in a place called Island City, after being expelled from their ancestral home in the not-too-distant future, they end up living and working at the Morningside, a crumbling luxury tower where Sylvia's Aunt Ina serves as a superintendent. Sylvia feels unmoored in her new life because her mother has been so diligently secretive about their family's past. But in Ina, there is an opening, a person willing to give a young girl glimpses into the folktales of her demolished homeland, a place of natural beauty and communal spirit that is lacking in Sylvia's lonely and impoverished reality. Enchanted by Ina's stories, Sylvia begins seeing the world with magical possibilities and becomes obsessed with the mysterious older woman who lives in the penthouse of the Morningside. Bessie Duras is an enigma to everyone in the building. She has her own elevator entrance and only leaves to go out at night and walk her 3 massive hounds, often not returning until early the next morning. Sylvia's mission to unravel the truth about this woman's life and her own haunted past may end up costing her everything. Post-apocalyptic at first blush, Cassandra Montag's After the Flood takes place about a century from now, our world utterly transformed by a 100-year flood, which leaves little more than mountaintops left for dry land. Myra and her young daughter are living on the water, searching for her older daughter, until coming in contact with another group of survivors who may have common goals. Storms, pirates, and a near mutiny nearly destroy their plans, but they continue to push ahead. This is an intriguing and innovative, woman-centered, swashbuckling quest narrative which centers on the social impact of climate change. The Trust by Hernan Diaz is told from the perspective of one woman bent on disentangling fact from fiction. This unrivaled novel about money, power, intimacy, and perception is centered around the mystery of how the Rask family acquired their immense fortune in 1920s and 1930s New York City. This is a clever and effective high-concept novel of high finance and real estate. Our next title is The War Below, Lithium, Copper, and the Global Battle to Power Our Lives by Ernest Scheider. This is an urgent dispatch from the front lines. To build electric vehicles, solar panels, cell phones, and millions of other devices means the world must dig more mines to extract lithium, copper, and other vital building blocks. But mines are deeply unpopular, even as they have a role to play in fighting climate change and powering crucial technologies. These tensions have sparked a worldwide reckoning over the sourcing of necessary materials, and no one understands the complexities of these issues better than Scheider, whose exclusive access to sites around the globe has allowed him to gain unparalleled insights into a future without fossil fuels. With vivid and engaging writing, the author shows the human toll of this war and explains why recycling and other newer technologies have struggled to gain widespread use. He also expertly chronicles Washington's attempts to wean itself off supplies from China, the global leader in mineral production and processing. This is a powerfully honest and nuanced picture of what is at stake in this new fight for energy independence, revealing how America and the rest of the world's hunt for the new oil directs us all. For you optimists, I offer Thriving, the breakthrough movement to regenerate nature, society, and the economy by Wayne Visser. An academic, poet, and author of 40 books, Visser brilliantly addresses the interrelationship of humans with nature, society, and the economy in organizations under the broad umbrella of regeneration. Drawing from his own research and others, Visser identifies 6 keys to thriving: complexity, circularity, creativity, coherence, convergence, and continuity, deftly explaining each. Cobalt Red, How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives by Kara Siddharth is an unflinching investigation which reveals the human rights abuses behind the Congo's cobalt mining operation and the moral implications that affect us all. Really Cute People by Marcus Harwood Jones is likely to be completely different from any other rom-com you've read lately, and is such a fun story. Charlie D is the non-binary protagonist whose life is in upheaval. Their queer collective has gone by the wayside, and Charlie is feeling a bit stung by the whole ordeal. They agree to go on a work trip holiday and end up staying at a rental house en route, but the rental isn't as private as expected. It ends up that the previous tenants haven't quite left yet. As the weather closes in, Charlie finds themselves snowed in with a young family. Buffy, an idol of theirs, her trans husband Hayden, and their small child who can't seem to decide on what name she wants to stick with just yet. Then everyone seems to start having feelings. The romance is great, the found family is A++, and if you've ever attempted to live in a communal queer situation, the breakup of Hillside will be familiar. This is a great polyamorous spin on the love triangle with the forced proximity trope added into the mix. If you love snowed-in stories, I'd highly recommend this. For the Love of April French by Penny Ames takes a completely different approach to trans love. April is a long-standing regular at Kink Club Frankie's and has kind of seen it all. As a trans woman, she's used to being the scenic rest stop for others on their way to a happily ever after. Then Dennis Martin walks into Frankie's, and April's world shifts. Recent studies have found that as many as 1 in 5 Americans have experimented with some form of sexual non-monogamy, and approximately 1 in 15 knows someone who was or is polyamorous. Although gathering statistics on polyamorous people is challenging, there has clearly been a growing interest in and normalization of relationship practices defined by emotional intimacy and romantic love among multiple people. Learn all about it in American Poly, A History by Christopher M. Gleason. Human beings are not trash, and the system that enables humans to imagine each other as such needs to end. Every day across the U.S., 66 million poor white people pay the price for failing whiteness. In this sweeping debut, Trash, A Poor White Journey, activist and chaplain Cedar Monroe writes indelibly about and for poor white, about unlearning the American dream, untangling from white supremacy, and working for liberation alongside other poor folks. Monroe introduces readers to people who are poor and unhoused in a small town in Washington, who eke out a living on land that once provided timber for the nation. On the banks of the Chehalis River, you'll find residents of the largest homeless encampment in the country who face sweeps and evictions and are targeted by vigilantes before bringing their case to federal court. Readers watch a community grapple with desperation, government neglect, and its own racism. From visits to jails, flop houses, tent cities, and on trips to hospitals and funeral homes, Monroe shows leaders forging connections between their people and the global movement to end poverty. With trenchant insight born of liberation theology, radical politics, and an even more radical hope, Monroe introduces us to people hammering out survival strategies and hope in the abandoned zones of empire. Going for Broke, Living on the Edge in the World's Richest Country is an anthology from the Economic Hardship Reporting Project that explores social inequality and economic injustice in the United States. Edited by Executive Director Alyssa Court and Managing Director Wallace, this collection of essays, poems, and photographs, originally published in leading magazines and journals, highlights the valuable insights gained by these journalists in confronting their own hardships. Disillusioned, 5 Families in the Unraveling of American Suburbs flips the coin. Told through the stories of 5 American families, leading educational journalist Benjamin Herold shows how the destructive legacy left behind by white suburban families has impacted the lives of the Black and brown families who have inherited it. Our next title is Sherlock-esque crime set in early 20th century London, packed with action and martial arts elements. This title is The Murder of Mr. Ma by S.J. Rosen and John Shen-Yen, and this is the first book in a new series. It features a daring, opium-addicted Chinese judge and his shy academic sidekick. These 2 unlikely allies race through the cobbled streets of 1920s London in search of a killer targeting Chinese immigrants. When La Shi meets larger-than-life Judge Di Renji, his life abruptly turns from books and lectures to daring chases and narrow escapes. Di has come to London to investigate the murder of a man he'd known during World War I when serving with the Chinese Labor Corps. No sooner has Di interviewed the grieving widow than another dead body turns up. Then another, all stabbed to death with a butterfly's sword. Will Di and Lao be able to connect the threads of the murders? Are they next in line as victims? Readers will be totally sucked into the quest to solve this fiendish mystery among the Chinese community in London's Limehouse district. The Fox Wife by Yangtze Chu has an intriguing twist. In 1908 Manchuria, Bao, a detective with an uncanny ability to sniff out the truth, is hired to uncover the identity of a dead courtesan, while a secretive woman named Snow, seeking vengeance for her lost child, navigates the myths and misconceptions of fox spirits to find a murderer. Several women involved with J. Gatsby would like to set the record straight. Using The Great Gatsby as a springboard, author Gillian Cantor gives voice to that novel's female characters as they provide their recollections and interpretations of the events leading up to the murder of one of American fiction's most enigmatic characters in Beautiful Little Fools. And, in case you missed it, No Reservations by Cheryl Lister is a story of sisterhood, grief, joy, and family. When their best friend Yvette passes away with one final wish, take the girls' trip they've put off for years, Joy, Diane, and Rochelle, as marriages crumble, businesses upend, and love blooms, lean on each other more than ever as they try to each live a life without reservation. They were all grieving the loss of one of their sisters of the heart, Yvette, while trying to navigate all this. Rochelle was hesitant to love again because of her abusive ex. Joy had put her dreams and aspirations on hold for too long. She didn't know her husband's intentions were not in alignment with hers. Diane's journey to motherhood was different than she imagined. The fluid narrative builds momentum as each friend charts a path to keep her promise to Yvette. Though the roads they traverse are often rocky, The destinations they reach are triumphant. This will enchant Lister's existing fans and gain her many new ones. 3 women, Dallas, scared to take a chance on her possible soulmate, Sasha, depressed after years of trying to conceive, and Candace, enamored with Sasha's brother, embark on a journey of love, heartbreak, and self-discovery together, supporting one another each step of the way in Danielle Marcus's Thick of Love. Dysfunction Junction by Robin Pearson focuses on sisters. When 3 women receive an unexpected phone call that leaves them reeling, they have no other choice but to reckon with a lifetime of memories they've long tried to bury. Only in facing the past will they find their path forward. That's all for this month. Thank you for tuning in to Denver Public Library's Friday 5 at 5, and we hope you enjoy these great reads and listens. Check out or place a hold on these titles and a whole lot more right now at denverlibrary.org, link below. Tune in next month for a new list of recommended reads. Bye-bye.